All right, everybody, we are back at the ICL with week 6, where we have Maelstrom taking on Freedom Gaming. Maelstrom currently in ninth place, Freedom Gaming in eighth place, so they're looking to kind of spoil the lower tier of the bracket here. Both excellent teams still, so don't let their ranking here tell you otherwise. But we're going to quickly jump into this game with Sailor of Team Maelstrom starting off showcasing the Amber Emerald Dogs deck and busting out an early lady. I'm joined here with Tomasz as usual here commentating, and from the opponent's side, we are going into an Emerald deck. Tomasz, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. Excited to see some dogs arfing once again.
Oh
How are you
yeah,
doing, Jeffrey?
I am very good. I'm off work for the next week, and I just got to see one of my favorite plays in the game, the Double Daisy. Big fan of that. Very hard to beat Double Daisy on the draw, so we'll see how this game goes for Otto here.
Yeah, I mean the Flynn Rider on the other side, at the very least, threatening to be able to boost and trade back. So
Mm-hmm.
not a free quest on that lady, but more of a silver lining than anything else.
Yep, and we do have Ursula whiffing on the hit, but going to see some valuable information in that Sailor does have the Tramp, one of the best cards in the game and most important cards in this matchup. How do you like the dogs versus? I believe we're seeing Amethyst Emerald here from Otto. How do you like that matchup? So on this game, it's looking like I'm liking
Um,
Sailor, but overall, what's your kind of thoughts?
yeah, I mean, to be honest, this isn't a matchup I've played very much.
Mm-hmm.
I played a decent bit of the dogs deck last set, but even then didn't really run into this color combo all that much. My kind of gut feeling is it's probably pretty decent. There's not a lot early to interact with these ready characters, so
Yeah.
you can do exactly what Sailor's doing here and just pretty, safely set up for a Tramp 7. Having the Flynn Rider and other early characters that can challenge definitely helps prevent that like free lore gain. But most of the interaction we'll be seeing, I assume, would be things like Mother Knows Best, You're Welcome, maybe an Elsa 5 drop. So it's gonna take a few turns before we can really interrupt that tramp setup.
Yeah, as you're saying, this is going to be just almost too fast. He's going to play this tramp here for one ink. He's played all of these characters, and he's only at 2 ink right now, which is quite a feat to do. You love to see it.
Yeah.
This dogs deck and this Emerald Amethyst deck have grown in popularity significantly in the last week. Kind of at the beginning of the set, they were not really rated that high, but they've just showcased the power that dogs is still here to stay and very, very powerful. And so showcasing the power of this tramp is basically just draw and dig for whatever you want,
Oh
and
my gosh.
uh, that is
Another tramp, this time for free?
yeah, it and this is exactly what can happen. You're drawing most of your deck. You're likely going to hit another one, and then it just becomes this snowball deck of this is way too much. Like, and we're going to double Daisy, but there's just not going to be enough ink or time for the opponent Otto to come back into this game at this point.
Yeah, and I was gonna point out, Webby is that additional one drop, getting the extra trigger to make the Lady Quest for 3. Because I assumed that tramp was the last card in his hand, but nope. Turns out he had one more, and we get to tramp into tramp. So just making a horribly wide board right off the bat. I do also want to point out, I don't know if you've noticed, but on the other side, there is a dog. There's an Akela that came down last
Mm-hmm.
turn. It's going to be a little bit slow this game here, but this is one that I've been seeing kind of creeping into deck lists recently. And honestly, I've been kind of more of a fan of it than I expected to be.
Yeah, and remind our audience what that one does and me.
Yeah, so that one, it's a 3 cost Emerald character. I'll be honest, I don't remember the exact stat line. I think it's like
It
I
looks
don't
like
know,
a
like a
three.
2/4 something.
Yeah.
Yeah, something with less strength than willpower, but it does have the ability to pay 1 ink and give it +1 strength for the turn,
Mm-hmm.
and that you can use as many times as you have ink, kind of reminiscent of the Stitch that we had in a prior set. So here, going to be a little too fast of a game to really be able to sink all that extra ink in there. But later on in the match, we might potentially see that sing something like a Mother Knows Best or just use some extra ink that was going to kind of burn away anyway to just get a little bit extra value.
Yeah, and he is able to take out both of those daisies, but this tramp is going to come in, and then we
Oh
are
my
just
gosh.
gonna full quest out and go to 19, and that is going to be all she wrote. And Otto quickly realizes that,
Wow.
picks up his cards, and we are going to go to a very very quick game two here. And you can see the
Yeah, I mean,
all smiles from
that's kind
Sailor right
of,
there.
yeah, when you're sitting down for these matches, that's pretty much exactly the hand you want to see. Multiple early daisies. We had the fast tramp, the lady getting to quest for its bonus 3 lore as opposed to just one, happening multiple times. And if I'm not mistaken, he was also on the play that game. So that's pretty much perfect storm for this dog deck, which I guess does make sense since they are Team Maelstrom, but we'll
Hmm.
see if he can pull out the same on the draw.
Yeah, and the dogs are a bit tougher on the draw, but it's definitely one of the better decks at winning on the draw. So, um,
Oh, yeah.
not too much fear. I'm
I can tell
assuming
you
in
that
this
for sure.
matchup. Yeah,
I
I've
think last set I was looking at some of my testing data, kind of getting ready for DLC Milwaukee, and my win rate on the draw was about 30% higher than my win rate on the play. This is a deck that one extra card, even though you're going second, just with the the 7-drop tramp and um, other cards that'll just really reward you for having extra cardboard in hand. I
yeah.
don't really mind being on the draw as much.
Last set, I actually had a better win rate on the draw versus dogs playing Amber Steel aggro, and it is because of that one less card that they have.
Mhm.
I believed, and so I always thought about, like, should I actually be saying I want to play this on the draw? I never was brave enough to do so because I still felt like the play is just better. But the data told me I should have probably been saying, like, I actually should be taking the draw in this matchup.
Yeah, I've just accepted the fact I'm not brave enough to play like, 65 cards or whatever it is some of these people do. So if I'm not if I'm not brave enough for that, I don't think I'm brave enough to intentionally take the draw, but maybe one of these days we'll get a format where I'll have to really sit and think about it.
Yeah, yeah. That is one of the areas that I wish that there was, like, reason to take the draw more, because it makes the die roll so important in these long tournaments.
Yeah, I mean, we did see, a new card uh recently that costs less if you're on the draw, so
Yeah,
might be some design space we'll see explored a little bit more, but speaking of the play versus draw, we got the one drops coming out. This Flynn Rider, definitely one of those cards that's going to be better on the play than the draw.
oh
Just
yeah,
threatening to boost and quest for some extra if you don't have a strong follow up. Um, always going to be great if we don't have something that can challenge back in.
yeah. And it's one of those really cool design cards because you can actually forego a bit more of the two drops, because if you miss a two drop, it's not as bad because you are getting some value from this guy. Not the best value, but it allows you to be more greedy in other areas in deck construction. And I'm always a fan of card design that lets you do that.
Hmm. Yeah, and I mean that's exactly what we're seeing here.
Hmm.
Um, possible, Otto was missing a 2-drop or just deciding that boosting here was the way to go. I mean, if Sailor wants to answer this back, it's going to involve this lady challenging in and trading off, and it's not really a spot you want to be with the dogs deck, especially if you're on the draw, but,
Yeah,
sometimes you got to do it.
yeah, and
This might just be a free quest here.
yeah, it definitely might be. And I am a fan that Sailor is using the set one Maleficent playmat. But we are going to see another Daisy. Will he have two again and match his play exactly from last game? He's pondering, so I don't believe he will do that. But unless it's a very hard ink choice, but to me, like, when you have two Daisies, you got a quick turn usually.
Oh yeah, that's always the funny one. Just like watching your opponent, you have the double 1-drop to follow up, and it's like, really obvious which ones you want to play, but the ink decision might be a little bit hard. And so you sit there for a few extra seconds, just make sure you're not gonna disrupt your next couple turns. And then you finally make your play, and your opponent's like, "Really? You had two daisies, and it took you that long?" Like, I'm sorry, I don't want to show you my hand, but I promise it was hard.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The inking decisions get crazy. And a lot of these aggro
Yeah,
decks,
kind of
that
weird
is
too.
it is the challenge. Is the first couple turns take the longest because you have to think through your turns and your inking decision, and that's when you have like all the different resources, and you have to make sure you use those resources correctly.
Yeah, we do actually see that trade coming out.
Hmm.
You know, this does set Sailor back a little bit. We're going into the third turn, and he hasn't quested at all yet. But this could be signaling, just a little bit of like a more grindy hand. There might be like a lady shift or something like that. But it does kind of put Otto in an awkward spot where if that trade is offered up and Sailor does decide to take it like he did, that's a pretty empty board. You just pass back. We have that Akela come down. It can threaten to challenge back, but you just got one character staring down this dog deck. That's not always a comfy spot to be.
Ooh, yeah. And then the 3-drop Clarabelle is going to come down, which I have not seen this a ton in the Dogs deck, to be honest. So this is kind of a new include for this set, and he is able to get the draw off it, which is nice because the Dogs deck does not. It has a lot of card draw at the same time, but does not have a lot of card draw. Meaning, like, the Tramp draws you a ton of cards, but if you're not playing that Tramp, you're not drawing a lot in this deck.
Yeah, it doesn't like put you up any net cards, but lets you churn a lot. And then this
Yeah.
Clarabelle just, we were talking earlier about how important just one extra card can be, and that
Mm-hmm.
Clarabelle really helping out with that. It like you mentioned, it kind of more of an inclusion. This set it fell out of favor in most deck lists last set, but now it's back and forth. It seems.
Yeah, and this Demona is going to be a beast on the field here. It's gonna
Oh yeah.
its willpower is so high that it's going to be very very hard for the Dogs decks to take it out without that boost tramp. And so this is likely going to just be fighting for the board significantly, and we're probably not going to see Sailor Quest for a while.
Yeah, we will see, one of those sort of like longer term effects of playing that Flynn Rider. We saw the boost on turn two. That means an extra card wasn't played from the hand. So we got that draw from the Clarabelle. And now it is possible if Otto can't dump his hand hard enough, this Demona might get one challenge in. And then that Gargoyle text, if he's got three cards in his hand still, it might not be able to ready for a
Mm-hmm.
couple turns. So
Yeah.
we could potentially see a sequence come up where that is relevant. There's that tramp you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
We'll
Yep.
see. This could be leading to some battling. This could just let the lady quest for two. But a
Yeah.
lot of times, these Daisy Ducks, they like to fight.
I do like a Daisy that can fight, and so I am likely going to be trading this Daisy and taking that doggy out. But we'll see if how he decides to take it. Big decision here, as this is going to kind of lead in to the rest of the game. And so Ursula, we see whiff once more. Now the problem with Ursula this set is there's not a lot of targets, but you kind of have to run it because the targets that there are so important to you not losing the game on the spot that you have to check for it
Oh
on
yeah,
those power turns.
yeah. We have the steel decks have twice as many steel songs that they're playing this set. We've got the malicious, mean, and scary out of basically every Emerald deck.
Mm-hmm.
Potential, your welcomes, Mother Knows Best. And kind of a side effect of that Ursula is it didn't take anything out of the hand, but it did give Sailor information on what's likely to happen next turn. And especially with a deck like this, where we keep talking about how precious each card is, you're trying to eke out every advantage you can, and just knowing, you know, even with that information, this decision here on what he's doing this turn is still really hard, and
Yeah.
just that little bit extra info might sway what we're challenging with, if we're deciding to quest or hold back, and every little bit helps.
Oh yeah. And this is one of the pivotal turns of the game. So just taking the time here to really think and make sure we choose the right target and trade correctly if we want to. And it looks like he might have chosen the lady and is going to take the trade with the lady. So we'll see. Not for sure yet. And so this does happen. I'm always. I know this might seem like it's taking a bit of a time for a turn. I always allow opponents to have kind of 2 turns per game where they can take kind of as long as they want, and as long as it's not like a consistent thing, I'm okay with it. But there's obviously some turns that are more difficult than others that are the crux of the game. And so if you play fast a couple turns, I'm going to give you 1 or 2 very, very long ones. And I always like try and say, hey, like to my opponent, this is a very, very complex turn. Give me a few here, so please be patient. And they're always very, very accepting of that. And so we do see he does decide to go with the Daisy, which I was leaning toward because I love me when getting some Daisy trades.
Oh yeah, making use of that 1/4 body, not potentially giving your opponent an extra card. Not really giving up too much lore by challenging with the Daisy instead of something else, since this lady is questing in for 2 thanks to the tramp. And like you were mentioning, just some of these turns taking a little while. That is kind of my favorite thing about this dog deck is you can have turns where you feel like you're tanking forever and just can't figure out the right play, and it's just a grueling match back and forth. And then you go to submit the result, and you check the round timer, and you still have 20 minutes left.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, okay, cool, that's fine.
Yeah, I actually almost went to time at Milwaukee because I played Amber Steel versus Dogs, and not one of our games was longer than 6 turns. And that's how long our turns took. But getting back to the game here, this Cheshire Cat, one of the most surprising cards, in my opinion, from the set. It's just how impactful it is. And the fact that you can just keep using its ability, it sort of is almost acting like the big Tinkerbell that we saw from like sets 1 through 4 when that was popularized, in that you really can't turn sideways because they're just going to get so much card advantage for relatively no cost on their end. And so we see the Demona trade in, and then the Cheshire Cat's ability come in to take out that Daisy. And I love this card.
Yeah. Oh, it's definitely one of my favorite cards of this set. Flavor wise, in this particular game, it is a little bit weird that the number one enemy of the dogs is the cat, but that just shows you the power of the Cheshire Cat. And this is a matchup where we probably won't see games like get grindy enough for this to matter. But sometimes, even just like boosting, not to get the effect, but just to put an extra card under it in long games, you have potential bounce spells or like maybe a Madam Mim Elephant. And being able to just pick up the cat and effectively draw 3 or 4 cards because you've been boosting it.
Yeah.
Just such a power spike.
And I like this Hades card as well. It basically says 9 times out of 10, draw 2 cards when you play this. So basically, this is just Finders Keepers. I don't think will ever be played again. Like, why would we play that when we can get a body and draw cards as well, and sometimes remove stuff? And so this Hades is quite good. Like when both effects are really strong like that, it's just such a powerful card. And then it has that most important factor of being inkable on top of everything. And so
yeah, I think this this set in particular, we've had a few like very stark reminders at how strong an effect being on a character is. Speaking of which, we see this lady come down to get a couple things back from the discard, but just this Hades sticking around, being a singer, might be able to set up for a turn where we're able to remove a couple of these characters. But this lady, 4/4 body is pretty solid. The Demona did get to ready. There weren't enough cards in hand to keep it turned to stone. But other than that, Demona, the lady being a 4/4 can threaten both the cat and the Hades.
Yeah. Outside of the big tramp here, this lady is what I think of as one of the scariest cards in the deck, because that shift can really bring out and let you sing some scary stuff early, and also the card advantage that it gets back as well is quite strong.
Yeah, sometimes it can be a little tough to get into play. Luckily, Sailor did have the shift target to make it a little bit easier. But once it's in play, its effect is pretty immediate.
Yeah, because it is quite rare, as you said, to get it in play without the shift card or the shift target, because the dog's weakness is it's not got a lot of ink to work with, and so it has to use all of these parlor tricks in order to cheat stuff out. via the Shift Lady, via the Big Tramp, via the Discounted Tramp on the 2-cost one as well. And so just a lot of these tricks in order to develop a very, very fast wide board. And so we're going to
It
pass
looks like we do
over
see a
to
pass
Otto.
back. Yeah, Sailor, deciding none of these quests look all that appetizing, staring down the combination of the Demona and the Cheshire Cat. Just a lot of potential to remove most of his board. So just looking to set up for even, potentially just a wider board, or maybe we do have some songs to sing. One
Yeah.
way or another, he's looking for a little bit more to set up.
Yeah, and Sailor's got a lot of time left until he sees the little Prince Philip shift line. He doesn't really have any pressure to quest with everything because at most his opponent can really answer one or two things, unless there's the Demona as well that takes out all or turns all of his stuff sideways. So that's also another thing he has to consider as well. And so um, right now the goal is to just be patient and then develop a wide enough board to take this game in 2 to 3 turns.
Yeah, we do see a hard cast on the big Clarabelle there. So Otto is starting to get up into those ink ranges
Mm-hmm.
where you might be threatening to even just hard cast a big Prince Philip. But Sailor looking like he still has a pretty stacked hand.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, just gonna flood the board
yeah,
and basically just tell Otto, hey, figure out how to deal with this.
yeah. And this is a very very important turn for Sailor because he realizes, okay, you're up to 7 ink. Next turn you go to 8. And then the turn after you go to 9, and that's when you can sing the malicious, mean, and scary into Prince Philip and just clear my board, and then I lose the game. And so I have to develop here, and now I have to think, do I quest here? Because if I don't quest here, next turn you go to 8 ink, and then the turn after you go to 9, and then you can still clear everything, and then I haven't ganked multiple lore from anything. And so he, I think, has the same internal thought that we just went through here, realizes that, and full quests out, which I very much agree with.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of an overused phrase and cliche at this point, but I think this was a really heads up play. We did see the Daisy and the Uninkable Lady following up these two um, 0-3 ladies. I forget the name off the top of my head. So there was a potential to just play the 0-3s and then hold back and try to draw a third character to be able to play all three and let them each quest for 3 on the following turn. But Sailor recognizing that that's just not going to put enough pressure on the board, and now is the time to make things happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so Otto here is going to just try to pick up the pieces and answer what he can and try to stop the bleeding as much as he can before he can potentially get to the Philip turn. But his hand size isn't huge, so he might not even have the combo. I believe his hand size is 1 unless he's holding it outside of the camera range, but
Yeah, it looks like that is just the one card in hand. And I mean, even without the Prince Philip combo, we do have the combo of characters in play and a Cheshire Cat.
mhm.
So able to clear at least a few here.
Yeah, and we still have a lot of opening, so if he's not playing something here, that last card is likely going to be a Prince Philip. It looks like he has. It looks like he has 2 cards, and one of them I saw was um, an Ursula 2 drop, which isn't the best right now. But Cheshire Cat doing what he does, answering these wide boards efficiently, and we'll see. Does he want to play this Ursula, or what else he has? He's got 1 or 2 cards max. His hand looked a little thick. I know we only saw one sitting there, but to me it looked like 2. So we shall see.
And part of probably push Sailor to play out the rest of his hand is this Clarabelle in play. So not going to get a refill at the end of the turn.
Mm-hmm.
Might even be deciding, if he needs to keep something for potential ink, or, if it is that Ursula, deciding if the kind of random body is even worth playing. And it looks like that mystery card was a You're Welcome,
Okay.
which is going to let this Clarabelle trigger at the end of his turn. The Dogs is also one of the decks that is the scariest to give cards to.
It is scary, but at the same time, since we have Clarabelle out, it kind of negates the weakness here, as we're going to be able to ink that Ursula and draw 2 cards then. Excuse me, I had to sneeze there real quick.
Notably, because Otto was able to clear so much of Sailor's board, even if he is able to get both of these ladies buffed up, a
uh,
full quest isn't going to 20.
so he actually had more cards in his hand than I thought, because he inked the Demona and played the Ursula, and now he's only going to draw 1. So there was a couple. So yeah, so now his hand goes up to 2, and we see fully, but it looked like he actually had 3 cards there, unbeknownst to me. And here comes Mowgli to check what we have. And Mother Knows Best goes bye bye, and we can say hello to that elephant. And now that elephant, as you mentioned earlier, it's got to bounce. And we've been Cheshire Catting, so if we really need cards, we got options.
We'll see. I mean, even with all of the challenging that's been going on, still might not have time to do anything with those cards off the elephant.
Yeah,
The 2 cards off your welcome plus the draw for turn, giving Sailor enough characters in play to activate those ladies and get that quest in, go up to 17, and now just threatening to end the game, even through some removal here. Notably, Cheshire Cat only able to move 2 damage, so only able to take out like the Mowgli or a Bobby. So on its own, unable to clear this Daisy Duck or the Ready Lady, which might prove to be a little too much.
yeah, he's going to need to have some sort of removal from the hand here for sure to survive till the next turn. So he's going to be thinking through. He has not scooped up as quick as he did last time, so he likely does have some plays to make. And in like worst case as well, he's got the elephant to bounce Cheshire, and maybe he hits double your welcome or something to survive. I'm gonna guess he's gonna go into the
So,
Bobby here, and it's actually gonna take out that. Oh, he has 2 damage elsewhere, so he can uh, do that trade.
yeah, we see the boost come in. One of the challenging things here is even with all this ink, is he's still a little bit limited because that elephant is going to eat up 4 of the ink.
Yeah,
So depending on what outs exactly he's looking for, um, you know, deciding if he had the extra ink to make that boost or not might have been part of the calculations he was making.
yeah, and this play tells me he needs to hit some singable songs from this Cheshire Cat bounce from the elephant, or he's gonna be out of this game, because if he doesn't hit something to answer this Daisy or Lady, that's just it. And so, ideally, uh, he hits a You're Welcome, or Mother Knows Best, but he is still playing like he
So the
has one.
challenges coming in.
And let's see, he does have the Mother Knows Best, and he does choose to hardcast it.
See what the choice here is. There's actually like a pretty solid argument to either character. Um,
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
not super likely, but this lady could get activated on the following turn. But the Daisy is just a lot more consistent,
mhm.
being multiple lore.
Yeah, you're so far behind. I don't think you have the luxury of worrying about that. Like, there are some outs, but I think the Daisy's the right call.
See what the draw here was. All right, it was just a Lilo, so we don't get that activation on the lady.
Yeah,
This is still a ton of lore in play.
yeah, I'd like to see the Lady Quest to go to 18. So both of these are Lorthal, and you have to take out both or perish the next turn. Yep, and he agrees with us and takes that lore, moving to 18. And so it's going to go back to Otto, who now has all of his ink and almost a full grip here. And so the Prince Philip combo could be back. He is going to Malicious Mina Scary and Prince Philip. So
Oh, there it is.
that is it. And this is likely going to go to a game 3 now. Just barely gets there and sets up for lethal himself next turn, I believe.
Yeah, this is, if I'm not mistaken, at least 10 lore in play. Sailor, all I could
Yep.
really do here is bring back a Lilo. Nothing off the top is going to save him. So we do get to go to that game 3. That was honestly a really exciting game.
Oh yeah, that elephant getting that mother knows best. Oh, you love to see it. The Cheshire Cat, MVP of that game, took out 3 characters and got you a mother knows best to take out a 4th. Good stuff. All right, so we are going to move into game 3 with Sailor on the play. Of course, Sailor qualified for Worlds, I believe, got 9th or 10th, very close to making top 8. Had a rough start in the sealed pool, but was able to make Worlds, which is huge. 30 players make it. One of the best players in the game. Love seeing him action and cooking up what he's got every set. In past sets, I'd always just say, Sailor, what list are you playing early? I'd play that and tune it and just kind of play that the rest of the set because Sailor always gives just great advice and it's very, very helpful in the community. So big shout outs to him for that.
Oh yeah, Jeff, you know me. My favorite thing to do is take one of Sailor's deck lists, change 2 to 4 cards, make it better, and then just go crush some tournaments.
Yeah, it reminds me of that Simpsons meme where it's like I basically took what we had, added a racing stripe to make it look a little nicer, and yeah, that's what we got. uh, all right, so Sailor on the play here, Otto on the draw. Once again, Sailor of Maelstrom and Otto of Freedom Gaming, and we have Sailor starting off for the 3rd game in a row with this lady. They are not shy for Sailor today. And Otto going to miss his 1-drop for the first time in 3 games. No Flynn for him,
Ooh,
unfortunately.
that's gonna be really big. I was about to make a comment about you know, there's matchups where you want to start with the lady or Daisy Duck. Some of them it doesn't matter, but this matchup in particular, we've seen how much that Flynn can threaten the lady. But when the 1-drop just doesn't come down, it doesn't quite matter as much. And that
Yeah.
does mean with the tramp follow-up, we get that free quest
Ooh.
off the activated lady.
And we have not seen this yet, but this is a terrifying card from the dog's perspective. But
Yeah,
unfortunately,
luckily,
he realizes I only have 2 ink. I've gotten ahead of myself. And so that is going to be very good news for Sailor, who can now kind of play around this. Sometimes accidents happen. He was very excited to see that Lewis and kind of played it too quickly. That happens from time to time. I recall an incident where I tried to play Tipo on turn 1, and luckily it
oh
was
my
just
god, I wish.
luckily it was just a local, and my opponent was just sitting there. And he's like, "How?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" And I was like, "He's like, it's turn 1." I was like, "Oh yeah, okay, sorry." And so Sailor is going to just take this quest and go to 9 right off the rip here. And so, are you a big Styx fan? You like their music? Because she is a lady right now, going for all of the lore. And this is going to be looking like a quick game off the start here.
Yeah, the second tramp, so we get another quest 3 out of this first lady and a quest 2 out of the second one. This is pedal to the metal right off the bat.
Yeah.
And now, we can see our alligator, crocodile. I'm not sure which one he is, but our scaly friend could come down. But the board state this turn quite a bit different from last turn,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
more on the board already. It's
And you gotta think
not a small hill to overcome.
you gotta think he would have saved that tramp if he doesn't have another answer. So I'm gonna guess he has another answer to the Lewis, unless he was really just saying I want all this lore, so I'm gonna play it this turn, and it's just not gonna matter that you're gonna get to take out something for free. But we'll see. Excited to see this turn
Yeah, I
from
mean,
Sailor's perspective.
going into 3 ink, we could even be looking at just a lady shift. If we do have another tramp, obviously that's great. We are getting to the character and ink threshold to potentially play a tramp 7, so
Mm-hmm.
maybe the plan is even just flood the board, buff up that lady naturally, and just take the trade.
Yeah.
We'll see. It looks like he's got quite a few options if he's thinking through. We'll see what comes out.
Ursula going to
Ursula to
check.
start.
It finally gets a hit. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Gonna have the mother knows best or the malicious, mean, and scary. And we go with the malicious, mean, and scary. Notably, it's inkable. And so,
Oh, there's the tramp.
yeah. And as I guessed, there was a third one. And so, very unfortunate that Sailor was able to get 3 from Otto's perspective because now that Lewis basically did nothing. And now Sailor's going to
And
go
that
to 12, and this game is going to be over pretty much next turn or the turn after. I'm not sure there's really anything Otto can do from here.
yeah, this is a really tough position to crack. Just getting the two characters in means that the lady, even though it had reckless, it did still have a good target to challenge in that Ursula. A tramp trading means that even if this game does go a little bit longer, we now have a tramp in the discard for a potential shift lady. We'll see. The Flynn's coming down. We missed him on turn 1, but maybe better late than never.
Yep.
Does look like quite a bit of lore ready to go, though.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at least, and then more if you play a bunch more. So, uh,
Yeah, well, we got tramps on board, so second lady's questing for 2.
yeah.
At
So,
minimum, Sailor can threaten to go to 18 here.
yeah, so he just plays a couple characters and it's over, or decides to Chromacon instead. And this is about best case scenario for Otto, just a Chromacon pass. And so we'll see if he can recover. Unlikely, but I'm going to guess this is just going to be a look at my hand, scoop him up. Because I don't think there is an
Now,
out here.
one saving grace is Prince Philip having ward means that if the Flynn challenges in first, the Chromacon can't return the Philip. So between those two and the Mother Knows Best we saw, might be able to live one more turn, but that's kind of at best treading water.
Yeah, even then, that takes out 3 things, and so that still leaves
Yeah.
2. So, yeah. The boost actually makes Chromacon a lot worse.
Yeah, maybe a Hail Mary play there, seeing if Sailor will let him get that extra card that's underneath.
Yeah.
I don't know. We could have here. I think it would have had to somehow involve like 3 copies of Malicious, Mean, and Scary, or something of that nature.
Yeah, and exactly 2 lore left for Sailor to get there. And Sailor is going to take match 1 of week 6 here at the ICL versus Otto of Freedom Gaming. In a great match between Dogs and Emerald Amethyst.
But yeah, that second game especially was a nice little grind fest for us.
Yeah.
And the other ones, we got to see what Dogs does when it's on the play.
Yeah, and Dog going on full cylinder is scary. But that game, he didn't even have the big tramp there. He was just able to just pressure the lore out so fast with those ladies and the little tramps, and just kind of that missing of the 1-drop was just way too much for Otto and Freedom Gaming there. But next match we go into, we have one of my favorite players, Kurt Spice, against Momentum. And so we've got Kurt Spice of Maelstrom going against Momentum.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, we do have a mirror match here. Is that right?
I believe it is going to be a mirror match between Emerald Sapphire and Emerald Sapphire. And so Momentum is going to be on the play here because Maelstrom won the first one, so I'm going to go ahead and update the names for match 2. All right. All right, good. The resetting the clock. And once again, for those joining in here, we have week 6 here at the ICL. Maelstrom versus Freedom Gaming. Maelstrom currently in 9th place. Freedom Gaming in 8th place. So Maelstrom trying to take over and move and ahead of Freedom Gaming. We've got Kurt Spice on Emerald Sapphire versus Momentum, also on Emerald Sapphire. So likely going to be a long match here, folks, because I don't know if you guys have seen this matchup, but it is a slow grind and a burn, and often involves who can get those Prince Philip combos off first.
Yeah, definitely going to be a slugfest regardless of who ends up winning. And we'll see. We have seen quite a bit of variety in how people are choosing to build this deck. Obviously, some pretty standard core cards, but I'd say the last like 10 to 20 cards have a bit of room to mess around with. So we'll see how similar these lists actually are.
Yeah. Are
some
you
of those, what's up?
Are you the Cinderella fan or the Detective Judy Hop fan? That Pandemonium Heart's been pushing.
Cinderella card, really good and really fun to play with, but Judy Hop's one of my favorites. I don't think I can ever root against her, I'll be honest.
Yeah, Pandemonium Heart did some disgusting things with that Judy Hop's in an Emerald Sapphire mirror match, actually, where he kept drawing Basils every turn. And Basil's...
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Basil's good in that mirror match. All right. So it looks like we are just waiting for the go-ahead to start. So I'm just going to go ahead and fast forward 30 seconds here. Fast forward another 30. I'm glad I'm doing this. And another 30. Oh, wow. We're still going. Okay. All right. All right. I'm glad we just
giving us a sample of what the mirror match is like.
Okay. Let's go. All right. So starting off, we have Momentum playing a turn 1
Webby off the ink.
Clarabelle. Yeah, Webby off the ink. That just definitely showcases no shift Webby, or if we have it, we're on the play, so it doesn't really matter too much. But that new Webby, insane card. It's kind of like a fair Diablo shift, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a really powerful card when it's activated. Not the most common card to see in these blue-green decks.
Yeah.
But I have seen, some people messing around with it. For these mirrors especially, like that's where it's going to be at its best. You're doing your own ramping, so sometimes it's a little bit hard to get going. But if you're on the play, like you said, you probably don't need it. And if you're on the draw, your favorite thing to do on the draw in these ramp mirrors is just get more ramp, and it does that nicely for you.
Yeah, Webby is an insane card versus the Sapphire Steel. It basically auto wins because they don't play the game for the first couple turns, and all of their late cards are single target removal, and so your Webby's going to get 2 to 3 ink easy unless they have exactly Captain Hook and Tipo, and at that point it's still going to get 1 to 2 extra ink, and so yeah, that's where I think it does the best, but quite interesting to see here as well. And so we are going to see that Momentum is on the Cinderella version, and this is about as fast of a start as you want to see on the play. Is you've got your shift Clarabelle out, you've ramped, and you've played Cinderella and ramped again and kept your card hand healthy.
Yeah, now, Kurt luckily had his own ramp, so he's going into his 4 ink turn, but Momentum already threatening the ability to have that shift Clarabelle and potentially even seeing a You're Welcome with the Cinderella, so the Clarabelle still gets to quest right away. Obviously, that's going to be kind of your best possible draw, but just the threat of it is already going to put Kurt under a lot of pressure.
Yeah,
and his answer... another Cinderella.
Yeah, and I love seeing my opponents ink the triple M, malicious, mean, and scary, because that's just one card you're always worried that they're holding for the Prince Philip combo, and if they have to ink them early, that means they don't have as many late, and it's less likely they're going to worry about it. But oh,
Oh, here we go.
this is a dire situation for Kurt here, because this is just the perfect curve that any Emerald Sapphire deck could ever ask for. Is you've got the one drop Clarabelle into ramp, into Cinderella ramp, into shift Clarabelle, into Sing You're Welcome. There's not a better possible start for a deck than this one right here. And so that's just
this is just the best you can have. And just the little like cherry on top, the nice interaction with this Cinderella Clarabelle. Didn't have a trigger yet here, but that Clarabelle fill in your hand back up. So if we do get another trigger on the Cindy, plenty of options to ink. On the following turn, go into 7 ink, already showing the possibility of a Hades. I mean, this line here, like we said, it's the best possible draw you can have out of this deck. And Jeff, I gotta say, if I was more of a Costco fan, I think this would have gotten 5 big booms.
Yeah. So Kurt's just going to decide to continue ramping to try and get out of this. He's likely got a Hades at least to try and answer this Clarabelle on the following turn, but just going to try and dump as much as he can here to prevent more Clarabelle draws. So kind of surprised to ink that Tipo if that is our plan, but he's likely going to have a better 5-drop, and yeah, Cinderella is in fact a better one. Not going to be dumping his hand as much, but ideally 3 is probably fine. Especially like the opponent had a Cinderella out as well, so.
Yeah, only so much you can do in this spot, so ramping, trying to get back to some form of parity is just going to be the best bet. Oh my god. We have another You're Welcome to just do it all again.
Yeah. And You're Welcome, not really a great card, but when you have Clarabelle, it goes from not great to the best.
Yeah, I mean, this is just really showing the power of the Cinderella. It came down, got 1 trigger. We haven't seen any princesses yet, but then the next 2 turns, just the 4-cost body getting to sing. So the amount of value that's come out of this card is just astronomical.
Yeah, the 4 power for singing is great. Now he's going to be able to do it twice if he wants, just basically cycling the bad cards into ink for free. And so Cinderella is one of those cards which I like cards that stand on their own with ETB effects. And so the fact that you can...
And an ink geyser.
Oh, Creminetly.
I'm gonna be honest. If I'm Kurt here, I'm probably just scooping this game up.
Yeah, because you've got 2 you're ink geysering, and then you have 2 Cinderella effects afterwards. You're gonna go to 5 while having a big Clarabelle and 2 Cindy's out, and there's just nothing Kurt can do. My body language kind of says it all here. Like just kick back, relax, and just like watch this one play out. But we can take this one out of the oven because it's done.
Yeah, I mean, I played a very little bit of the green-blue deck prior to rotation. I don't remember if it was set 7 or 8, but the very few times I got to ink geyser with at least 1 fishbone coil in play, that felt pretty good. But you ink geyser, and you have 2 Cinderella triggers and a Clarabelle trigger to follow it up. It's basically like he didn't even geyser. He's already at 5 ink, going back to 6 on the next turn.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I don't even know what you do at this point.
Yeah, you just try and see what else is in this guy's deck at this point.
Yeah, I think you if this is at a DLC, you say thank goodness that we're playing best of 3 and not 2 game, so I can just take this loss and hopefully win the next 2.
Yeah, over at Bologna, I was watching my teammate in round 1, Kendall. No, I'm not, and he had such a good hand versus the Emerald Sapphire deck, and then all of a sudden the Emerald Sapphire guy played Ink Geyser, and I was like, oh no. Now you can't do anything. And it's like, uh-oh. Yeah, so Ink Geyser, also, I think, a very well designed card where it's really just horrible, 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 horrible until it's not. And like 80% of the time, it's really bad. And then 20% of the time, where you see it in this situation, it's absolutely insane. It's definitely a win more card, but it's one of those that it's very, very good at making sure that you win that game.
Yeah, I mean, before we started this match, we were talking about how grindy this mirror can be, and sometimes just having those cards that basically slam the door on your opponent, even if they are win more most of the time, just making sure you don't lose to them, top decking the perfect card 4 turns in a row, that
Yeah.
can have some real value. And he has these Cinderellas. Now we see Akita. We had seen Webbies in the ink. So his deck is definitely built to be able to break the parity of the Ink Geyser, to just really maximize the strength of that card in matchups like this.
Yeah. And the ink is just accumulating so, so, so fast for momentum here. He has the momentum for sure, just kind of living up to his name.
Oh my gosh, and he's got Pleakleys too. Now, I don't know if anyone's told him. I found this out the hard way. But getting to 20 ink in a game does not count the same as getting to 20 lore. I tried to do that quite a bit in set 4. But this is a man after my own heart. Just every single card in your deck should be ink, and then you can just do whatever you want from there.
Oh yeah, I remember the set 2 days with the Grand Pavy OTK where I was often getting to 16, 20, 24 ink consistently.
Yeah,
Uh,
set 4 going to 24 to 26 ink is just spilling off the playmat. Those were my days.
I watched Sky run out of ink tokens in top 4 of the World Class Cards 5K at like 26 ink or something. I think he had 25 tokens. All right, so Kurt gonna ink that John Silver. Plays Cinderella for the 3rd turn in a row, as well as a small Clarabelle here. Actually, pretty probably the strongest follow up he could have. Unfortunately for him, his opponent has 2 Cindy's and Akita, so just continuing to hang. And it's quite interesting. Why do you think we didn't quest this last turn
um,
from momentum?
just cause.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything that you could be punished by from questing, and so that's just sort of not taking 2 lore. I don't know if I'm missing something, but I would have liked to see the quest there.
Honestly, the way these games play out, it probably doesn't matter. But yeah, I mean, Kurt obviously in a horrible position here, but this is one of the ways he can try to come back. Just get that ramp going, try to reestablish his ink. Had the threat of the shift Cindy, but this Basil put it back in hand, slow it down for a turn. Obviously going to be really good. And I mean, we aren't at all that much lore yet, so there is still the possibility that something like an M&M's and a Prince Philip could reestablish some board parity. But Momentum has, at this point, I would be shocked if it's not double-digit cards in hand.
Yeah,
He's going to have quite a few options.
yeah, he does decide to quest here. Uh, Kind of a no different board state than last turn, so maybe he can hear us from afar, even though he can't, because this is recorded days later.
We'll see what comes out from Kurt. Obviously, he also has a ton of cards in hand. Going to 7 ink here, something like a Hades or a Basil of his own. Might have, some multiple smaller characters to just try to dump the hand. Looks like a sail to start off. Cycling, getting even more ramp going. Really trying to get to a point where he can swing this game back in his favor.
Yeah,
At this point, I have to imagine he's got to be angling for that Prince Philip combo, or something to bridge him to that.
yeah,
Um,
they
it's a
both
split
have
state.
an insane amount of resources at this point, so getting that Prince Philip combo off first is going to be quite significant. The ink advantage, though, is to momentum, of course, and so he's going to have that flexibility of just being able to play it like naturally almost whenever he wants, and he's had a singer forever. So, but also the problem for him is he might have it, but Kurt has not stuck a character this entire game yet. He's played a Cinderella, and it is just disappeared every time. Actually, sorry, I misspoke. This Cinderella was the first one to survive a turn, and so Kurt has played nothing but Cinderella, Cinderella, Cinderella. There was a small Clarabelle last turn, so just everything's getting answered. But double Cinderella is going to allow him to ramp very quickly here, actually, and so we might have ourselves a game on our hands. But Kurt's definitely still quite far behind.
Yeah, but I mean, this just again shows the raw power of this deck. You know, if you had told me that this board state was a few turns ago, it's like this Ink Geyser almost didn't even happen.
Yeah.
Um, Obviously, the Clarabelle shift and the Your Welcomes and all that has put momentum pretty far ahead, but Kurt's had the tools to just basically rebuild to pretty much where he was, and still obviously not a great
Look
board
at his
state for
hand.
him, but a lot better, a lot better than we thought it would be after that Ink Geyser went off.
That's got to be like 8, 9 cards.
Oh yeah, it it's a nearly full grip, but at Basil Quest, sometimes it snipes exactly the card you need to get rid of.
Oh yeah.
So Kurt can't feel like he's too out of the woods yet.
And I don't think he's going to get much use out of that Webby effect this game.
You see, is this an Under the
Okay.
Sea, the Sing Together, Cindy's taking out Cindy's.
Yeah.
Kurt almost had enough ink to just play the full Prince Philip combo from hand. Not quite there yet, but
I
this game
think
doesn't wrap up soon. That might be something to be worried about.
I think we have sent 4 Cindy's back to Kurt's deck at this point. These things are getting passed around more than a beach ball at a Nickelback concert.
See, big quests coming out, really putting Kurt under the gun. If he has them in his deck and Under the Sea of his own, would actually stem the bleeding here pretty well, but still wouldn't be enough to fully solve this board.
Yeah, you're stuck. There's not
I'm
much you can do here.
just resolving the Basil trigger there. Oxy, you're welcome out of his hand. We'll see. I mean, at least this was more than a game than we thought it would be after, the first few turns.
Yeah, I mean, Kurt has taken some actions, but he's basically only played Cinderellas this game, while the Emerald Sapphire deck just slowly, just ever so slowly grinds him out. So, I mean, it's been technically a game.
Yeah, but I bet resolving those Cinderella triggers felt so good. Let's see if he has the tools to at least extend this one more turn, but we got a pretty threatening board state on the other side, so Kurt's really got to pull something out here.
Yeah, definitely. Just sort of thinking through his turn, deciding to just hard cast a You're Welcome to take that Basil detective out, and see this also kind of adds to why this matchup goes to time so much. There's so much more shuffling of the deck than other matchups.
Oh yeah. Have another Mother Knows Best.
Yeah.
Just trying to stall this board as much as he can.
But that's going to be. He's going to buy himself another turn, but momentum's going to go to 19 lore just from these Cinderellas
Yeah.
and Webby and Kita here.
At this point, Kurt might just be setting up for that, full combo from hand as
Yeah.
a way to momentarily buy himself back in. But even if he does have it next turn, momentum being at 19 means that Kurt has to answer every single card that comes down after that.
Exactly.
And we've seen these Webbies and these Kitas, so he has a decent supply of word characters as well. So he might be put in a spot of basically just having to Prince Philip combo 2 or 3 turns in a row to even realistically have a chance in this game still. But we see a Visions, we see a Develop. He's digging, he's looking for it. If those cards are anywhere near the top of the deck, hopefully he's found them. But you know what would be really funny right about now?
What's that?
Another Ink Geyser. I don't know if he has more than one in his deck, but it would be kind of
You
hilarious.
you can't play more than one, right? Right?
I don't know. You got Cinderellas and T-Pose to ink them.
True.
I'm sure there's a way to make it work.
Yeah, yeah. I'd probably want to play Bobby over the Webby if I'm playing multiple of those cards, though. Oh,
You just gotta
goodness.
believe.
We got
Oof.
4 Cindy's on the board here. Able to just cycle, cycle, cycle. I guess you could play 2 Ink Geysers when you got 4 Cindy's, just juicing them to the Inkwell as well. All right.
This is
If
almost
I'm Momentum,
in a
I'm
way
really
it's
not even
reminiscent of
playing
the last
anything.
match.
Yeah, if I'm Momentum, I'm literally not playing anything. I'm just questing with everything, saying, "Show me the Prince Philip combo," and then I'm redumping after it. So, kind of interesting to see what he's kind of thinking through here.
Yeah, I mean these Cindy is sort of doing a tramp impression. At the end of his turn, he's going to be able to dig through 4 cards, and instead of discarding them, they go straight to the ink. That feels pretty good. I'll be honest.
Oh yeah. All right, and now we're gonna take the longest end of turn actions I have ever seen. Debating if we want to do 4 Cindy's. It looks like he only did 1.
Now, it is interesting. We saw no quest here.
Oh yeah, that is.
Prince Philip is able to come down.
Why is he not questing ever? I'm very confused. He should be at 19.
For the culture,
Yeah, like that
the
has
aura, you know.
there. I don't like saying like misplay like on commentary, but that just has to be sort of a blunder, right? Like there's no reason not to quest.
I don't know. He's probably still got like 10 cards in hand. See, maybe he's still just got this game locked up, and he wants to style on Kurt a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. That was like this game should be over.
It's all right. We'll see where it goes from here. I mean, Kurt spending his whole turn to get that Prince Philip combo to bring some parity back. Momentum answering it with just the 4 ink to play. You're welcome. And a Clarabelle coming down. Notably, this is only the second Clarabelle we've seen this game. So
Yeah.
if this does go much longer, he's liable to have multiple still coming down.
Hey,
And there it is.
You are correct.
Another
That is the
Ink
second
Geyser.
one.
See, he just wanted to get to play his second Ink Geyser. He
Yeah.
knew I would be so happy.
I was trying to wait till the game is ending, but my dog is going nuts. So if you just want to chat for the next bit, I'm going to be back in like 2 minutes.
All right. We can hang out with me. We'll see. We're resolving the Ink Geysers here. Get to go back down to 3 ink each with the Clarabelle in play. Means that Momentum might be able to draw some cards here. He was pretty ahead on ink, so once this is all said and done, this Clarabelle might not actually be triggering. And honestly, even if it does, I don't know how much it matters at this point. Both players going to have probably somewhere north of 15 cards. Now, we have seen both players play out a lot of Cinderellas already. So if someone does still have one hiding up their sleeve for this 4 ink turn, that would be pretty big. I think most of Momentums are in his discard. And Kurt has a Tipo here, which, if he has another piece of 2-cost ramp, might even be better than a Cinderella. Yeah, we see a second Tipo there. So he's immediately jetting up to 6 ink, already threatening to play something like a Hades or a Basil on this following turn. Also just emptying his hand a little bit more in case it ends up mattering for this Clarabelle. But Clarabelle herself, still the biggest body on the board.
Yeah, and the Tipo train.
Momentum also has the Tipo.
The Tipo train has begun. So, you know what the most common card to be inked is in these matchups? That'd be Tipo. And so when you're Ink Geysering, you're gonna get these Tipos back.
Oh yeah.
And so we're just on the hyper ramp train. But I'm still just wondering about that quest, and let's see. We are gonna finally quest here.
Going up to 15. Um, this is one of those rare instances where Tipo might be better than Sail,
Hmm.
because having a second Tipo here would have been quite nice just for threatening that little bit extra lore.
And at this
But
point,
still, having a Clarabelle on board is
Kurt's got to have
where
a
you want to
Hades at this
be.
point, right? We have not seen one this game.
Yeah, we have yet to see a Hades. I know there have been a few lists floating around playing anywhere as low as 0 or maybe even only 2, but I'd imagine there's at least something coming down here. It looks like we saw a Basil coming out, probably just double checking that that's the play he wants to make.
And
Instead, opting to go for the John Silver,
yeah.
just locking down this Clarabelle.
So that allows him
Okay,
to
so
shift one. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
yeah, using that extra ink to get the little Clarabelle out, just putting some extra bodies on the board. See what the follow-up is. This Clarabelle can't quest, but it is still able to sing. So if there's another Under the Sea or You're Welcome, anything like that, might see it coming out here. To Prince Phillips, threatening that shift line.
Yep.
And at this point, honestly, just being awarded 2 questers is pretty big game.
Yeah, the two questing is going to be here is going to be huge here because there's no possible way for the Prince Philip combo to come from Kurt's side on this next turn, and so that is basically guaranteed game for momentum here to take out Kurt in game one.
See, we have gone through a lot of cards. It's possible, Kurt might have sent some extra copies of M&Ms to the bottom, but if he has 2 of them in hand here, might be able to actually clear most of this board and hang on by a thread. But we see a You're Welcome coming in on his own Tipo, going for the emergency glass being broken, trying to get 2 more cards. He's singing it with the John Silver too. He's only at 1 lore here, so the extra ink from singing may be relevant, but doesn't find whatever he's looking for,
And that
and we finally scoop it up.
is going to be it. 25 minutes for game one, as predicted. These are long ones, kind of 5 extra minutes because of that no quest there. So hopefully that doesn't come back to bite momentum here. But let's go ahead and skip forward here toward the next game. We're shuffling up a little too far. Okay.
See, Kurt starting off with the Clarabelle. Um, kind of always what you want on this turn 1 in this matchup. There's not much way for your opponent to interact with it. So Kurt obviously going to be trying to find that Cindy in the shift line if possible. Having to ink a Prince Philip might be a little awkward if this game goes long again, but depending what his opening hand is, sometimes you just got to do it. There's 3 more in the deck. You'll find them eventually.
Yep, agreed. And unfortunately, Momentum misses the one drop this time around and had to ink that Webby, which obviously, if he had that one drop Webby, would have been so powerful in this situation. And now Kurt is going to be able
Oh
to
yeah.
take some free questing here with the Clarabelle, and then is able to sail, keep his hand healthy, and get rid of that small PP.
Yeah, I mean, these are exactly the spots where you want that Webby shift if you have
Mm-hmm.
it. Usually it takes a little while for his ability to get going, but being on the draw and then having your opponent ramp means that be able to get that extra ink as soon as turn 2. But he has his own sail to keep up with the ramp, so both players firing on at least most cylinders.
Oh, yeah. And
Like inking a Tipo, so he had plenty of ramp to go around.
yeah, and as we said, the best card in the game to ink is Tipo because that means you have better ramp to play than him. But
Oh
also,
man.
there might be consideration to play the Tipo yourself just because of the Kurt having the shift Clarabelle threaten here.
Yeah, of course it's gonna depend on what the rest of his hand is and what the follow up is, but it's like Kurt with even a bit more ramp doesn't have that Cinderella on the 4 ink this
Mm-hmm.
time, but Getting
Yeah.
another Sail, still ramping up quite a bit. We
Kurt,
have now seen one whole copy of the Prince Philip combo inked from Kurt's side, so
yeah.
might
And
not matter much, but might be something for momentum to keep in mind if this game goes long.
yep. And then Cinderella coming out and just evening the score for our ink totals here. While Kurt is an AWOL Nation fan, double sailing here with the sail. Meanwhile, the Cinderella just a little cleaner, both accomplishing the same thing, both giving the exact same resources, but the Cindy leaves a board presence in play. Uh, Ideally, Kurt's going to want to shift this Clarabelle here, sing your welcome, and just kind of clap back of what momentum did to him in game one. And so we are going to see the Clarabelle, but he is just going to quest and pass and just say, gimme 4 cards.
Yeah, you say just, but he's just drawing what was it, 3 or 4 cards at the end of his turn, so
Yeah.
it's pretty good there.
And because he doesn't have the You're Welcome, his opponent does have one and is able to take out the Clarabelle for not necessarily free, but does not have to use the ink total, and then plays a second one, so can just continue to ramp. We're seeing a very similar game plan from Momentum that he did in game one.
Yeah, I mean, Kurt being on the play this game and being the first one to get off that refill from the Clarabelle might mean that it plays out a little bit differently.
Yeah,
Um,
but at this point, Momentum has taken the momentum back and is now, for all intents and purposes, on the play because his ink total is higher. His cards may be slightly lower, but uh, yeah, these Cinderellas have stolen it back.
yeah, now he has these multiple bodies developed, so can potentially sing some more songs in the future. If Kurt's follow up is to play some Cinderellas of his own, it could even be sing together for an Under the Sea, or I believe we
Mm-hmm.
also saw a Stopped Chaos in its tracks out of Momentum's deck last game. So really, just this deck and this mirror match in particular feels a lot about just like pressure, right?
Yeah.
Your opponent can have a handful of different, sets of cards in their hand, but all of them are just kind of exerting this pressure on you to make something happen and kind of just hope you don't get blown out in return.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and these Cinderellas, I think they quested for like 12 or so lore last game. Oh, and a bend to my will, just discarding Prince Philip and Vision. So not a huge turn, but kind of enough. And so you just want to see that Momentum doesn't draw Big Clarabelle. He's counting his ink though, and is just gonna quest and pass. So that's probably a Prince Philip, maybe. Maybe an Under the Sea. There's a lot of dead cards in this game. Like in this deck, the Emerald Sapphire deck doesn't do a whole lot when it has no resources, and a lot of its cards are synergistic together. And so it without
Mhm.
a full grip, it doesn't really do anything. And so, Kurt very happy to see no Clarabelle off the top, as this is going to give him time to dump his hand while his opponent tries to find some answers.
It
And
looks like
so there is the big PP.
was a Prince Philip coming down just as a big 3 quest, hard to
Yeah.
deal with body,
He's still
and
a 6/6 with evasive that quests for 3. So even when he doesn't get his enter the battlefield effect, he is quite strong. And so Kurt's just going to follow up with the full combo. And now Kurt is fully in the position of this game where if Momentum basically has one turn here to draw Clarabelle, if it's not Clarabelle, that's going to be about all. This is going to stall a little bit by taking 3 lore off the board. So he is going to have another turn. I think he does need that Clarabelle next turn though. This stalled for 1, bought him an extra 1, but he's running out of time.
yeah, and just the way the bend of my will, even though it only discarded 2 cards, just the effect that it had, putting him to top decking, means that he was kind of priced into playing out his cards. He could potentially kind of have waited on that big Prince Philip, but if that's the only card in hand and he's just top decking every turn, there's not really much to top deck into there. And now Kurt, the one with the Clarabelle, not drawing any cards off it now, but just a big two quester, almost an
Yeah.
insurance policy in a way.
And I don't know if you saw what he drew there, but it was Ink Geyser. And in that situation,
Ooh,
that is not what you
yeah,
want.
not gonna do it there.
And he said, "I would rather concede than show you this this side of the Ink Geyser." So we've seen both sides of the Ink Geyser. In game one, where it did disgusting things, in game two, you draw it with 0 cards, and you're sad and concede.
Yeah, and I mean, we saw both decks get to slam their uninkable haymaker, and for both decks, we saw it basically take over the game. So see how
Yeah,
this game three goes.
much
Momentum being on the play, gonna
much
be happy
quicker
about that.
game. Yeah, momentum going to be on the play. Yeah, very very strong.
See the Webby played out.
Yeah, we'll see if we can get some use out of it. We have not seen Webby get an effect yet in this match, but yeah, that second game much quicker than the first, which is good for game three because we used half of our time in that game one. So there is the shift Webby, but we're on the play, so we aren't going to ramp. But that means if Kurt ramps, Webby is going to get a ramp. So now Kurt's in this kind of weird position where you probably
Yeah.
still have to ramp if you have it, I'd imagine. Yeah.
Yeah, I think if you have it, you still gotta go for it because just him stalling himself on getting to those Cinderellas or Shift Clarabelles isn't gonna be too conducive to his game plan.
Yeah.
But
And
now the
so,
Webby making up for the fact that Momentum didn't do his own ramping on turn two, he sort of banked it in a way.
yeah, you basically stalled for a turn and gained 4 lore from it, which is an excellent trade, in my opinion. And now you have a 2/4 war
Yeah,
character where if they ramp again, you're able to uh, do it again, but you TPO'd, so you're likely not going to. And so, yeah, this is basically how you can get value. Like, you love the Webby shift against Sapphire deck because their whole early game plan is they have to ramp, and so they're gonna ramp.
yeah. Now at this point, I mean, even if he's worried about a potential Clarabelle shift, being able to knock out that Webby, Webby can just hang back and act as a warded singer. Let me see it. Kurt following up with that Cinderella, so keeping up with the ramp as well. This does keep them at ink parity, so this Webby doesn't get to trigger right this turn. But I would say this Webby's already gotten quite a good amount of value.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And the best part about it is you're getting that ink for free just by questing. And so this Webby's gotten 6 lore, quested and inked once, and Pleakley now
Okay,
sending 2 more ink to the inkwell. So this is just,
Webby's just so much ink.
yeah. Webby with 6 lore and 3 total ink. Just really, like, I see why he's playing the ink geyser because he has ways to ink in this deck. Momentum really just playing a momentous deck.
Yeah, definitely. I wasn't surprised to see that second ink geyser in game one, considering how much it looks like he's built around it.
Mm-hmm.
I would be curious to see how many he's playing in total, but definitely deciding to really lean into that ramp engine.
Oh yeah.
And now already going up to, he's at 7 ink now,
Mm-hmm.
so already going up to 8 ink next turn. We could see a Prince Philip coming down in just 2 turns. But Kurt with the Cinderella back to back, kind of in a way, looking at what Momentum did and said, well, that was cool. That was
Yeah.
really cute. I'm just going to play a Cinderella and then play another Cinderella, and I'm just going to keep up with you on ink.
Yeah. And
But in the
interestingly,
process, Momentum's gotten to 7.
yeah. And
So,
interestingly enough, who's ever stuck these multiple Cinderellas has been the one that's won every game. And so it's just kind of the difference of the body of the ramp, and being able to just filter with the card advantage has been helping that player a lot more than just these single like Webbies and Pleakley. Now, we haven't seen the Webby go for 6 yet, so that could be a difference maker because 6 lore is quite a big number, especially this early.
yeah. And, both players playing with the smaller Prince Philip. and the Clarabelles, these sort of like the shift targets that kind of just sit and play for a little bit that you don't really want to interact with or you can't. A lot of times representing a little bit of extra lore. The turn that they shift. Now we see a hardcast Cinderella come down, and just cleaning up the board a little bit here. Gonna try to get some redraws off this Clarabelle.
Mm-hmm.
And the Pleakley, notably being a 3/4, does actually threaten these Cinderellas
Oh yeah,
pretty heavily.
yeah.
They probably aren't going to turn sideways unless they're singing something like a "You're Welcome" or a "Malicious, Mean, and Scary." But just every little bit to kind of keep that sort of like free questing in check, especially in a matchup like this that can go so long. It'll all add up.
Oh yeah, and Clarabelle only drawing one card there, but this is going to be one of those situations where an Ink Geyser is going to be very, very deadly. Uh, with the Cindy's, it might be not as deadly. So if we can like draw and just do Under the Sea into Ink Geyser next turn, ooh, I'll that would not be a good situation for Kurt. So we'll see what Momentum does and what Kurt does. Kurt's digging to try and sculpt his hand for next turn. He's already used 2 ink here, so he's not going to be able to do any Prince Philip shenanigans just yet. I think he's probably digging for that, and if he doesn't have it next turn, he's going to be in trubs. So looking
Yeah, and
here.
notably, he started the turn at 8 ink, so would have had the ability to ink and then sing plus play the Prince Philip. So from momentum side, you could at least make the read that either he doesn't have it or for one reason or another, he's trying to wait one more turn to fire it off.
Oh no, if
With
he
the
has
way
it, he's
these
playing
visions and
it.
Phillips are going crazy, like yeah, definitely didn't have it at the start of the turn. Um, but we'll see. I mean, honestly, even with these Cinderellas in play, like you were saying, it can make any guys are a little bit scary. But so far from what we've seen out of both these decks, Kurt looks like he's only triggering these Cinderellas with themselves, unlike what Momentum's doing with the Kitas.
Interesting.
So it's possible that there could be an Ink Geyser and these Cinderellas could sit and play and not get any more extra ink. We do see a Max Goof come down.
Yeah,
And now,
if I'm Kurt, I'm actually probably taking this Clarabelle and Tipo trade just to stop the bleeding a little bit.
yeah, definitely. And this Max Goof, I don't believe we have any songs in the discard right now.
Yeah, it does not
But
appear
this
that way.
does at least threaten the potential to basically double sing like a "You're Welcome"
Mm-hmm.
or something like that. And even without that, it's just a big 2 quester. So again, just another card that sits in play is going to act threatening. Momentum, might feel like he has to answer it just to be safe.
Oh, Momentum loves to draw
Speaking of
these
"You're
Your
Welcome,"
Welcomes with Clarabelle.
yeah, I mean that's the best time to do
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Imagine, yeah. Ooh. All
See,
right.
I mean, this Pleakley now could come crashing into this Cinderella. We might also have some more follow up to deal with a little bit more of this board, but at the very least, momentum is already hanging at about 10 lore. See his own Cindy coming in, so not going to stop ramping anytime soon. Now we get to see this nice little synergy with the Cindy and the Clarabelle trigger. So gonna get to really filter through the top of his deck at the end of his turn here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we do have 10 minutes left in the round, so we are going to just have to keep and make sure we're monitoring that. Luckily, Kurtz does show the time remaining, so he's very, very well aware. But Momentum already at 10 lore has a very strong board. If we don't see a Prince Philip combo here shortly, Kurt's just going to be out of this from these little uh, Wiener's questing for a small amount and just getting him there.
Yeah, that nickel and diming off the webby early, really putting him in a good position here. This board state obviously really threatening, but if he was at say like 3 lore here instead of 10, maybe Kurt, might feel like he has an extra turn or two to set
Yeah.
up. And now he might be a bit under the gun. So we see the Basil coming down, just clearing out that Clarabelle. You have to imagine if he had the Prince Philip combo, he would have fired it off here. So again, just like another little another little hint at what might or might not be in his hand.
Yeah,
But this Basil, without an immediate answer, it is a little bit scary. Like we have the Clarabelles and the Cinderellas flying around, but it looks like both players at this point are playing with 2 to 3 cards in their hand. So that discard effect might be able to take out a key card that Momentum's holding back.
yeah, and I like the no trade with the Cinderella here because then their Cinderella can just trade back, and then if they have one answer, then you're no longer able to do a Prince Philip combo at all. And so making sure to keep that Singer healthy for the Malicious Mean and Scary just sets up, even if you don't have the combo, it sets up the possibility that you could do the combo. And for one lore from that Tipo, it's as scary as it is if they're already at 50% of their lore necessary to win. I think it's a necessary evil in order just to keep your options open.
Here we go, a double Cindy once again. Kind of been the star of the show this match, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah. Whoever has these Cindy's live the longest has been the winner in all of the games. And this Tipo going to go to 11, take that lore. And we'll see how these with the two Cindy's, you really just get to sculpt your hand how you want it and grow your ink a little bit closer to being able to just hard cast the Prince Philip combo. And so we're digging
Yeah,
through that deck. And at this point, we've got a decent board. Although the Basil is going to be able to discard a card. I want to say Momentum's got 3 to 5 cards. I can't tell exactly.
yeah. This would be another spot where one of those haymakers could really just turn the game around.
Mm-hmm.
Hitting him with a Bend to My Will or the Prince Philip combo here might
Yeah.
kind of just reset things. But if Kurt has, a bit more of like a kind of a medium hand, which I'm guessing he might not have what he wants if you're welcoming our own Cindy here.
Yeah.
Um, Momentum might be able to just, keep pressing his advantage, but we'll see. I mean, Kurt still has the outs of drawing into that Prince Philip combo or whatever other answers he's looking for, and he's got plenty of ink to work with.
Yeah, just he's just not drawing what he wants. It appears he's digging a lot. He visioned, he developed, and he's still just not doing any powerful turns. I guess his
I
opponent
mean,
didn't have a very powerful turn
unfortunately,
either with just Cinderellaing, but he is sculpting his hand, so likely this next turn for Momentum will be a bit stronger. But we're almost down to 6 minutes already, so they are going to have to just speed it up. At this point, I don't see a way for Kurt to win this game, and so Kurt's best option is probably playing for a tie. Like to see him continue to play at a normal pace, but in the back of the mind, you're always thinking like, if you see that time, you're likely not going to be able to get to 20.
yeah, at this point here, you'd probably need something like the Prince Philip combo or maybe another Basil, and then just hoping that Momentum doesn't have an immediate answer back.
Mm-hmm.
If Kurt's able to build up a board that's, questing for 6 a turn, might be able to still close this one out, but it doesn't look like that's coming together just yet.
And he's
You
gonna.
see,
You're welcome. Interestingly, to play the Clarabelle. Okay, makes sense. I was like, oh, and so this is gonna be one where, if his opponent Momentum draws the Prince Philip combo, Kurt's basically done. But this turn, not bad for Kurt. He gets to get a full grip, taking 4 cards off of that Clarabelle, and has the better board by a significant margin at this point. And so, really, without a Prince Philip combo, he's probably feeling pretty good at this point.
yeah, this honestly might still be a turn where Ink Geyser could do a lot of work. If Momentum's able to find ideally another Cinderella or even just that Kita to get another Cinderella triggered.
And he's got it.
Um, oh, yep, he just has it anyway. I was gonna say he could, kind of reset things with the Ink Geyser and then be the first one to be able to race back up to this Prince Philip.
Mm-hmm.
But it looks like Kurt did all the digging, and Momentum was still able to find that Prince Philip first. Now,
Yeah, and now he
he's
doesn't have.
threatening a lot of lore here.
He's had the Singer every turn for the last like 8 or so turns, And it finally, he drew all those cards, but his opponent gets it from the You're Welcome. You hate to see it. Kurt's got a full grip, likely has the combo at this point, but just doesn't have enough. So probably gonna. I don't even know if Kurt's playing Hades because I've not seen one in 3 games. Um, but
Yeah, haven't seen one yet. So if he has them, it might just be one or two, if any at all. So we might just see a Basil coming down or something similar to stall this
uh,
Prince Philip.
and
Speak
speak
of the
of the
devil.
devil, yeah, and he shall join us. Okay, so that's good. If Kurt didn't have that, he was going to be in a rough shape, and so this is even better. So this was about as good of a follow up as Kurt could have had. Uh, this Tipo though, just continuing to put in the work and just slowly inching him toward the goal. We've got three and a
Yeah,
half minutes left here, and as the tradition continues, more Cinderellas joining the fray, and a Clarabelle
Tipo
to
almost
boot.
questing for as much as the Webby did.
Yeah, it's been a Tipo and Webby show. All right, and so Kurt needs to have the Prince Philip combo here for sure, or he is just going to be in a devastating position here.
Yeah, at this point, anything besides the full board wipe is just going to be kind of turning his wheels. I mean, something like another Hades or a Basil to even reset that Clarabelle. It's
Yep.
going to take a lot of lore pressure off the board, but momentum's inching real close to that 20, and he's getting the refill
Interestingly,
with the Clarabelle.
interestingly left, he chooses not to use the Cinderella effect and just chooses to draw with Clarabelle. Oh no, there he does the Clarabelle first smartly, and
Yeah,
then the Cinderella. Okay. Yep. All right. Spoke too soon.
yeah. These players they started shortcutting these triggers a little bit ago just to try to get this match still wrapped up in time. We'll see what Kurt has here. Um, kind of would assume that if he does have the combo, he's just going for it,
Yeah, like
but
we
maybe deciding what to ink or what the follow up after that is.
just another Clarabelle does not have it. That's gonna be a lot of lore. Yes. So Mother Knows Best is gonna come out, and then Hades is gonna clean up one of these Cinderellas. Oh no, he's hard casting the Mother Knows Best and then cleaning up the board. Okay, so Kurt's in relatively good position here without having to use the Prince Philip combo. Sets it up with the small Prince Philip out. Not that he necessarily needs it at this point, but he's not in the worst position to make this a tie. He's in a bad position to win it with a minute and a half left, but and momentum just has another one. Kurt
Yeah,
just
swings it
really
right back.
Kurt just really wants to have it once, and momentum just has it every turn. So
Yeah, unfortunately, these Sapphire and Emerald decks sometimes can play out like this. Like you have a lot of strong cards, you have a lot of card selection. Sometimes if you draw a little too much of that selection without finding your bombs, you spend just a little bit too much time spinning your
oh,
wheels.
and that is
Oh,
gonna
and that
be all she wrote.
is a brutal ink geyser there.
Prince Philip into Ink Geyser. That is deadly. If you thought getting your board wipe was bad, imagine going back to 3 ink after that. Yeah, they're.
Yeah. I mean, we did see a Mother Knows Best out of Kurt, so it is possible, we might go back to his turn and he has a way to at least
Yeah,
stall this Prince Philip, but
the
at this point, I think it'd be really hard for Momentum to not have enough stuff to put in play to still
yeah.
get to that 20 lore finish line.
Yeah, the good news for Kurt is this Ink Geyser is going to take pretty much the rest of the time to uh, to finish up, and so um, he is going to play that Webby, and he is going to pass at 1 second or zero. I don't know like if they caught it or not. So it looked like 1 second. So I think Kurt would actually be turn zero, which gives momentum a whole nother turn.
Yeah.
So very, very close to call there, but likely Momentum's going to win this one unless this Prince Philip is answered. And even then, still going to have a Webby and a Cinderella going to 16, then 18, then 20 on his 3 turns, unless Kurt can answer something every turn, and that just assumes that nothing else is played. And so that is going to be nothing for
I
Kurt.
think
5, 6,
at
7.
this point, Kurt's best option is this sail that he has, a double ink, and the small Prince Philip.
Okay,
Is
this is
not
good.
what we see here.
This is as best of a turn he could have had.
And like you were saying, even without the shift Webby, this is still a 3-turn clock. If he does have that shift, which very well might, since we saw one inked. So now it's only
Oh,
a 2-turn
wow.
clock.
The shift Webby is huge.
And
And gets effect.
still this late in the game, getting the trigger.
Yeah. Starting fresh off that ink geyser. So this would be turn 0, 1. Turn 1.
Yeah, both players gonna have 2 more
yep, that's
turns.
going to be it. That's too many ward characters.
Yeah.
Kurt is scooping them up.
There we go. Right at the buzzer.
Oh, wow. What a
The ink
game
guys are
that
coming
last
in.
was. Oh, wow. Those are some crazy games we saw. And so, while that matchup takes a while, it's a good watch.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Great grindy games. I don't know what day it is anymore, but that was a good time.
Oh yeah. So we're gonna just zoom, zoom, zoom. All right. So we are at the ICL Week 6, Maelstrom versus Freedom Gaming. Sailor took match 1, 2-1. Momentum of Freedom Gaming took match 2, 2-1. And we're in match 3. Maelstrom on the play, trying to win this one out. We've got Xenulous versus Solo Falcon. So let me go ahead and update those.
Looks like we have a very interesting matchup here. If I am reading this correctly, we have sort of an inverse of match 1.
Mm-hmm.
Have green purple versus yellow green, but this time instead of a more pure aggressive dog deck, it looks like we do have a Circle of Life yellow green coming from Solo Falcon, and Xenulous playing green purple mid range. But this deck has a lot of options for how it can be built, so it is possible we see something quite a bit different than what Otto was playing earlier.
Yeah, and I am a big fan of Solo Falcon's mat because I do see my own signature on it. So, big fan of that. I'm a big fan of Xenulous, but he's not playing on a mat signed by me, so I'm going to have a little bias in this game.
That's fine. I'm just going to root for whoever has more ink or more tramps in play. So we know where my allegiances lie.
Yeah. So I actually met Solo Falcon here at the Ink Open where he got all of the casters to sign the mat. So you can see JDZ, Kimberly, Lorcana Villain, myself. Actually, I think I see Xenulous' signature on it as well. Up in that bottom right corner from our perspective. Yeah. Okay. So once again, Xenulous going to be on the play, playing Amethyst Emerald mid-range versus Solo Falcon of Freedom Gaming on the Amber Emerald Circle of Life deck. And we're going to start with the Webby, who we saw put in so much work in the last matchup, although a different color. Bobby Zimmerowski coming in and just saying, I'm just discarding what I saw off the top. Didn't love it because this is a Circle of Life deck after all. You want the big booty guys in the discard.
Oh, yeah. You see that Stitch get discarded as the opponent, you immediately know what's up.
Mm-hmm. You're like, oh, this isn't our regular dogs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Now, I'm going to be honest. I'm not as familiar with these Circle of Life lists, but so luckily this Ursula is going to help me out. And he's not got one but two Circle of Life, so unfortunate for Xenulous, if he doesn't have another Ursula, that is going to come out. And because of the glare, I can't really see too well, but it appears there's an Ursula and 3 ladies.
Yeah, it's an Ursula, 2 lady 1 drops, and a shift lady.
Mm-hmm.
Notably, this Stitch is way too much ink for the shift lady to get back, but he's got that circle of life. We want it staying in the
Yeah.
discard anyway. But that shift lady is a very solid singer. This looks to be a little bit more of like a hybrid build. It is still playing the lady shift line.
Prince
We got Prince
Philip.
Philip getting inked. We already
And
got one fatty in the bin,
I want to see what you're
and
doing. So I counter with an Ursula, and I also got a hit. These Ursulas are powerful. And then we see the Shift Webby, a Prince Philip, and a Cheshire. And so the Webby's not really going to be getting much
ooh,
effect against this matchup because Amber Emerald notoriously does not ink a lot.
that's actually a really good hit off this Ursula. If Xenulous was feeling the pressure, there was always the option to Mother Knows Best back his own Ursula to take
Mm-hmm.
that second circle of life. That's just been snagged right out of his hand. And not, a super fast start from Solo Falcon's side, but a lot of times this deck is going to spend the first few turns just setting up anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You'll get your lore if you can, but it's really just sculpting its game plan and just kind of hanging out. We haven't seen, a chance for those ladies to come down yet. So at the very least, that shift is still a little bit ways away. But once those 1 drop ladies come down, it's something that Xenulous has already seen. So not only is he gonna have to worry about it, but he knows that he has it.
Yeah, and that Ursula is just going to dare Solo Falcon to challenge into it because he's got that Cheshire Cat. And so if there's damage on stuff, Xenulous is happy because then he can start removing the Bobby, the lady, the Ursula. And so he's going to take that lore while he can, which is basically just going to be free lore, um, and just
And
hope.
this board state, this is already showing the power of that lady shift line. Um, you know, Xenulous normally would be probably guessing, does he have it or not? But that Ursula got to reveal all the secrets, so we know that at the very least there is another circle of life and that lady shift. And with that shift, we already have Sing Together 8 in play, so that Stitch could be coming down next turn.
Yeah. Oh, and the only thing better than a Surfer Stitch is a free Surfer Stitch off of the Sing. And so when they released Revive, like some people thought Revive would be good, and just it's just not when you but Circle of Life you can sing it and make big things come back for free, and free makes things so much better
Oh,
when
there
it's
we
a song.
go.
Yeah, and there is that Mother Knows Best. That's gonna stall this game out a couple more turns, and that Webby is gonna just start putting a lot of pressure on Solo Falcon, where he's going to need to, uh, at best, put some stuff out here, and then even the Circle of Life is going to just allow his board to be just gruesomely taken apart by this Cheshire Cat and Webby, and so he might have a big character out, but it is going to put uh, the rest of his board state in disarray.
Yeah, notably, Xenulous opting here to stall Solo Falcon
Mm-hmm.
instead of picking up and replaying his own Ursula. Um, so that, probably means the last card in his hand is either uninkable or something that he very much does not want to ink. And also, means he's just valuing the questing just a little bit more as well.
Yeah,
Not resetting that Ursula, just keeping the board intact a little bit more.
we're gonna float
We'll see.
3 ink because our hand is Circle of Life, a big lady, and likely another big character. And so uh, Xenulous just gonna take that free Webby because Solo Falcon inked ahead of him, and so just a nice extra card there, straight to the inkwell, very nice. And more importantly, some extra lore. Thought
Yeah,
we
already
froze up
getting
for a
up
second.
to 7 and potentially 9.
Yeah.
We'll probably see this Cheshire Cat just hang back,
Mm-hmm. That's what
not
he
giving up
does.
the free trade for the lady.
He's kind of like a new Prince John, just a turret there that will just beat you up. Not as strong as Prince John, but
Yeah.
we are going to get this circle. and this is going to refill our hand and put out one of the biggest characters in the game. And depending on if you have the English or German
This is going to
version,
be really
oh
tough
wow,
to deal with.
oh yeah, and then with the Mowgli just showcasing, oh, Xenulous has nothing. He's left with just
Uh-oh.
two Webbies. Oh goodness. And so he might be able to crack back and take some early stabs at this board, but he's got nothing left. There's no gas left. This Stitch is just gonna solo him, and so if he fights back for this board, his only hope to win is by just getting there with lore. But at the same time, this Circle of Life has single-handedly just flipped this entire game, as it
Yeah, I
does.
mean, uh, we could see a bit of an extreme answer. Maybe like a double Webby onto the shifted Webby to trade with this lady, but that's not a spot you want to be.
Hmm.
Cheshire Cat, as great as it is, once that Stitch comes in play, you can move the damage around all you want, but it's still going to be a heck of a time getting rid of that Stitch.
Yeah, agreed. So Xenulous has got a decision on what am I gonna do here. I got a couple Webbies, so luckily he drew one of the better cards he could have drawn this turn. Gonna opt to likely target the Stitch. Obviously, Soul Falcon's gonna say, "Have those cards. I'm keeping the Stitch out here because it is gonna be pretty much unkillable from your perspective." And so, take those two cards. I'm gonna fight for this board. He should not be able to ink that Ursula because he inked Webby this turn. And so he actually double inked. Oh, nope, he
Looks
realized,
like
put
he's
it back to his
realizing.
hand. Yep.
Yep.
Good job, Xenulous. So his hand now.
These things happen sometimes. We try
Yeah.
to catch them the best we can. But
Yes.
Xenulous, started with a solid lead going up to that
Oh.
8 lore, but once that Circle of Life goes off, this deck is a churnin'. And the
Yeah.
Tramp to follow up. We've already seen 2 Circle of Lives, but this Tramp might be able to just draw back into the third. And
Or
even if it doesn't, this board is going to be very hard to crack.
yeah, or even more tramps. Like it's just gonna be enough probably.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Scar notably, some juice in here, some Scar and some Scrooges.
Yeah, the Scar has been some really interesting tech that we've seen some of these lists play.
Yeah.
You're pretty much all playing the Prince Philip combo in some capacity,
Uh huh.
and just this Scar acting as a ward singer, very strong. And
Yeah.
then every once in a while, you get to just value malicious, mean, and scary, send some of your little critters in, and draw a whole bunch of cards.
Oh yeah. Malicious Mean and Scary has really just sort of opened the door for a lot of these cards that have been pretty useless because they require damage characters. But now that there's a singable thing that just puts damage on everything, these cards that previously had no spots have spots now.
Yeah, and we see Solo Falcon holding on to a malicious, mean, and scary to keep an extra card in hand with the follow-up tramp that we saw. A timely Ursula gets to take that away, but even still, Xenulous, knowing that there's a tramp on the other side, recognizes it's time to start going.
Yeah,
Gonna
that's
quest up a bit more to 12.
Xenulous is never
And
getting this board, so he has to realize I am an aggro deck
yeah,
now. Uh oh, and tramp off the top is going to be ruinous.
and even with that malicious, mean, and scary going to the bin, enough of a board here from Solo Falcon that probably don't even need a Philip combo or another Circle of Life to be able to close this game out. Stitch and the Lady going to be able to do some real solid challenging on their own, and then get some juicy questing out from the rest of this board.
Oh yeah, I'm liking what I'm seeing from this deck. I miss Surfer Stitch, one of my favorite cards in set one to play. Uh, Xenulous
Yeah,
not
I've
loving it
been
right
playing a
now,
little bit of
but
this deck so far. It's so much fun. This is definitely going to be one of those decks where, kind of regardless of how it ends up like positioned in the meta, it's probably going to be a solid deck to build for your local league night.
oh yeah,
Just a really fun deck to play in paper. Get to see the look on everybody's faces when you don't do anything for 4 turns, and then suddenly you circle a life, back a stitch, and go crazy with a tramp.
Yeah, it's one of those where its early game is a little bit weaker than the dog's deck, but if you can just get one of those circles off, all of a sudden, every turn you have after that is going to just be quite deadly, as we're seeing
Yeah,
here.
it's very reminiscent of the Zero to Hero
Hmm.
dog deck, affectionately named Hot Dog Hero. I don't know if you remember that one, Jeff, but one of my favorite pre-rotation decks we've ever had, and I think this is a pretty close approximation.
Yeah, was that the Chris Anderson special?
Oh, you know it.
Yeah. All right, so Xenulous left with a little kitty and an Ursula, and too much lore to go. And so,
Yeah, staring down looks like about 12 lore on the other side of the board, so not quite, a win here, but a very solid 2-turn clock. Might see a little bit of damage fly around, but right now the only damaged characters are these, stitches, ladies, and tramps. So if any of that
mhm.
damage is moved, it's just gonna make those even harder to knock out.
Wow, he's actually going to put a damage on the Mowgli and then move it to take out the to take out.
Looks like finishing off the lady that had 3 damage after it swung into the Hades.
Interesting.
But
I probably would have just moved the
besides
tramp
that,
damage.
yeah, might still be angling for a possible fill-up line in case that comes up
Hmm.
or anything like that. But
Very true.
no follow-up play besides the boost. I have to assume the rest of the hand isn't too great.
Yeah, and then this is Lorthal on board, so this is going to be a draw scoop. Uh, go next. Yep.
Yeah, there we go. We'll see now. This deck, the Circle of Life deck, does need quite a bit to come together to have the most explosive draws. A lot of times you're going to have to wait until you fire off that Tramp 7 to be able to find your Circle of Life and discard your big payoffs.
Yep.
But we'll see what kind of start he has here. If we have another Bobby discarding a Stitch, we might be in for another quick game.
Yep. And we start off with one drop from each player. Oh, and there it is.
Ooh, we've
As you can.
upgraded. It's a foil Stitch.
Yeah. Oh man. So Bobby, very important card in this matchup because the downside of Circle of Life is you've got to get characters to the discard, and so before Bobby, you had to spend time getting some sort of threat out there, and so Xenulous going to shoot the Ursula, and we are going to. It looks like it's going to miss this time, and we see the Ursula Vanessa, which is a singer, the big tramp, a lady, Mowgli. So
Yeah, and it looks like, we're going to have a lot of options for solo Falcon here.
yeah,
Could opt to play the Scrooge to just get more lore pressure in play. We could see, yeah, this Ursula come down, try to snag any songs that might be hiding, just get a look at what Xenulous has going for the next couple turns. We do see a pretty solid curve. He's
mm-hmm.
got, a couple 3-drops in those cats and the Prince Philip into a Genie and a Hades.
Yep,
Now, the one silver lining on that Ursula missing is that we got to see the rest of the hand is just building up to this tramp. No Circle of Life yet.
yep.
Xenulous still has a little bit of time before the fireworks really start.
And because we ink the Go Go, now Solo Falcon knows all of the cards in Xenulous' hand and can kind of play around it. And so, but luckily for Xenulous, his hand is pretty scripted with a Genie into a Hades, and at that point, he's got a fully new hand. So there's not much information to be ganged or play around from Solo Falcon's side. But he's going to opt to play that lady, which notably is going to put up to 5 uh, singers worth of value. And so if he can draw the circle next turn, he'll be in quite good shape to just sort of get that Stitch out. And so, and
Yeah, this lady just putting a lot of Singer into play so that even these draws where you're playing an Ursula or a Mowgli instead of that Ursula Singer, still being able to count right up to 8 going into turn 4. This is going to put some pressure on Xenulous to find a way to interact with this board. If he doesn't, there's already a possibility of a tramp coming down and a potential sing on a Circle of Life, or at the very least, you might have some of these tertiary sing together songs like Under the Sea or Stopped Chaos. So we could see this deck going off as soon as the next turn.
oh yeah, and so this tramp is going to be extremely scary for Xenulous because it can draw more tramps or it can draw the Circle of Life, and either one is going to be quite devastating. And so we're going to draw our 4 cards and then discard our 4 cards, filling up that
And
discard with necessary evils for us to choose from. Ideally, a big Prince Philip, uh, perhaps Zombie Lilo if it's in the deck. He picks 2 quite easily, and then kind of just deciding on that last one there. And so just, oh, I've got no idea how he's doing it. He's sort of picking different piles. That was
yeah,
that was an insane way to
sometimes
do
you
this.
gotta sometimes you gotta kind of sort them out. Figure out what you really want to discard.
All right.
Looks like we are ditching a big Prince Philip, a couple other
An
cards.
Ursula, a Malicious, Mean, and Scary, and a Scrooge. And then there is the Circle of Life to bring back the
Nope.
Surfer Stitch. And we are going to draw 2. And we're only at 3 ink, and this is our board.
Oh yeah, it's wild what you can get up to with this deck.
That's
Um,
the power of songs.
Notably here, the one saving grace is that this has all been setting up and then singing, so he's still at 0 lower. This
Yeah.
gives Xenulous a little bit of a window to start challenging in. This Scrooge is very hard to deal with its return on challenge ability. We might see this Cheshire Cat moving some damage around to get it out of here. But
Yeah.
even if Xenulous clears up a bunch of this board, that Stitch already came down, the Tramp came down, so we have a few big questers that are going to survive pretty much anything.
Yeah, he's definitely got a small window, but that window has been kind of rusted shut, and he's gonna need a lot of help to open that window because this
Yeah,
board
so
is
here
insane.
there might be a tough decision to make. If Xenulous plays this Hades, it is almost definitely just drawing cards instead of getting rid of whatever it chooses.
Yeah,
But might feel the need to go fishing to try to find some of those songs to sing. Opting instead to play a Webby here to give this genie, it's like, yeah, the genie the extra strength, so it might come challenging in. See where he decides he wants to go with this.
well, I don't know what
I
giving
think
the
it's
genie extra strength here does because everything has. I guess I can take out the Scrooge. Maybe no. No, the Scrooge is a
yeah.
one.
I mean, it is also possible he might have chosen something else and just like
Mm.
accidentally pointed at the
Yeah.
genie. Can't can't quite hear what they're saying, so it's
Right.
possible he announced something else, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Oh, yes, it is to take out
It's
Ursula.
like,
Got it. Okay, understood.
okay. So yeah, was choosing the genie there, taking out the Ursula. Notably, this only leaves 1 damage floating around right now. So this Cheshire Cat's only gonna have 1 to move.
Clarabelle should be
See
still
some.
alive because it hit a Bobby.
Uh,
Yep, I
looks
see it.
like, yeah, there we go. And then this Cheshire Cat can come in and take out this lady. Now it's got some 2 damage hanging out. We can boost, move this over, clear that
Yep.
Scrooge.
So
And this is
cleans up a
about,
lot.
yeah, about as best as he can do, given this board. It does clear up quite a bit. If there's a follow-up tramp, it's going to be a little bit hard to get that in play. And even if that does go off, it's not going to cycle quite as many cards. Ooh, but now we have the Scar come down, and those trades left a lot of characters damaged.
Yeah.
So we're going to get the cleanup back from Solo Falcon, and he's going to get to draw some cards while he does this.
That is not the card you wanted to see if you were Xenulous. You kind of had some sliver of hope, and now your board is gonzo, and your opponent just drew a bunch of cards. And his cards are a lot better.
I will point out, this game is going downhill fast, but it looks like there was a Potion of Malice that got moved to the discard off that Cheshire Cat boost. I have to say, that is a spicy one, and even though it's not doing anything in this game, I am happy to see it in at least someone's deck list.
Oh, yeah.
That card is so sweet.
Yeah, I love a good item. I love seeing this card played. It's just been one of those where challenging effects are just so slow and easy to play around. And then when you add that they have to be damaged on top of it, it's just extremely hard to get value. But as you said, the malicious, mean, and scary, it brings cards like this to the forefront. And because it has ward, and drawing cards, always okay. Like, if a card says draw a card on it, there is consideration to play it, especially if it's inkable. And so there's not too much downside.
Cards that draw a card when they enter can be pretty bad and still playable. And yeah, just also, like, I love when stuff like this works out, where we have that malicious, mean, and scary to be sort of a main plan for getting damage on things with the Scar. But then we also have this sort of, like, more nebulous thing where
what was that word?
Cheshire Cat floating around in the format. Nebulous, not Xenulous. Don't worry.
I thought you said Bar Nebulous.
No.
Okay.
And so when you're playing against these purple decks, they have their own Cheshire Cats, so they have an incentive to keep damage floating on their characters.
Yeah.
And you sort of get to flip that with the Scar and say, all right, well, you can get your value with the Cheshire Cat, but I'm going to draw some extra cards out of it.
Yeah, and
we see another tramp coming down.
Yeah, and that, I think, is going to be the nail in the coffin, especially if we see another circle.
Yeah, I mean,
Xenulous is at 5 lore.
A tramp here,
not enough to raise.
This was going to be tough regardless, but getting to draw a few extra cards with that Scar the turn before means that Solo Falcon's going to have a pretty stocked hand. He gets to keep 3 cards after this discard.
Discarded a circle.
Yeah, discards a circle means that there's almost definitely another one coming.
Yep.
And this time, we get to see it get back that Prince
Just
Phillip.
take the Prince to take any hope you have of winning by taking that Genie out.
Yeah. And even there, only taking out one character with the Prince, a lot of decks would not be all that satisfied with it, but when your board state looks like this,
I'm pretty satisfied.
Yeah. Honestly, that Prince could have come back and taken out nothing, and it still would be taking over this game.
And so
Hades come down finally.
And here's your board is so big you could consider not letting him have cards, but if he picks the Prince, I'm going to let him have cards.
Yeah, at this point, the only, like, minor concern would be that those cards turn into, like, a Mother Knows Best. But
and then
if Xenulous is turning something sideways to sing and bounce something, at this point, you don't even really care that much. I mean, you bounce the Prince Phillip, and there's still 2 tramps and a Stitch in play, and honestly, all things considered, not that far off of just playing the Prince.
Yeah, and if Xenulous trades it all, that Scar's just going to draw more cards.
Oh, yeah. It's really just pressuring him from all angles here. The one saving grace is that Xenulous was able to start the lore race. Almost definitely not going to be the one to end it, but he can at least try to pressure from that angle.
Yeah. If we don't have... I'm assuming we have 2, but I kind of would have liked to see the Bobby trade into the Webby, put a damage on the Webby, and then take back a Bobby with that, and then draw a card off of challenging to the damaged Webby. It's probably not going to matter, but I like drawing cards,
Yeah, just picking up the Scrooge. I didn't see what the other card was off the Lady Shift.
I think it was 2 Scrooges. Ooh. Check out that podcast, everybody. 2 Scrooges, starring Boomy and Attack for 2.
And now,
All right, so he's going to end up doing that
yeah,
play as well. All right,
yeah,
drawing the card.
solo Falcons board getting to the point where could almost just quest for 20 all in one turn,
Yeah.
honestly.
It's going to be like one of those questions from Xenulous. How much lore do you have to play? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15? And then Xenulous is going to draw for turn, ask that question, and say, yeah, you got it, bud.
Yeah, what the discard is here at this point, to probably almost choose these cards at random.
You could probably discard all of
Like,
them. But we are going to do a malicious, mean and scary, just for funsies.
yeah, just for good measure. Might as well play around in Ursula.
Oh, I'm questing that Scar probably. I
Yeah,
guess
maybe.
I guess your opponent has some cards in hand, so one more to. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's over. Right, and that is game. And Solo Falcon gonna take 2-0 on the draw against Xenulous here and take the victory for Freedom Gaming 2-1. Sailor starting off the uh, this week 6 ICL with a victory over Otto. Then Kurt coming in round 2 and losing 1-2 to Momentum on the draw, and then Xenulous on the play losing 0-2 to Solo Falcon here. Another great week of ICL. I think my favorite game, Tomas, today was that game 3 of round 2 between Kurt and Momentum. Just zingers back and forth, and then that ink guys are sealing it. What about you today?
Oh man, I mean, I think all the matches were pretty great. We got to see some real cool stuff out of all the decks. I do think it was kind of funny. We got to see dogs in its various forms beat up on green purple, and then we just let the green blue players get locked in a room with themselves, so they didn't have to bother anybody else. But yeah, those ink geysers are probably my favorite.
Oh yeah. Well, I appreciate you coming out here again. This has been another great week of the ICL Week 6, and until then, we'll catch you next time. We'll see you later, everybody.
Yeah, see ya.